Hello everybody, welcome to Sketch Club. My name is Jason Meyer. My co-hosts are missing tonight. So if you tuned in just for Izzy and Cindy, you'll have to make sure to show back up here Sunday night at 7 o'clock and they'll be back. Tonight we're going to work on two sketches for 10 minutes apiece. One is going to be a landscape vista with rolling hills and pine trees and dramatic clouds. And the second one's a hungry little baby scrub jay, a baby scrub jay screaming for some dinner. So that will be a good time. But before we get started tonight, we're going to go through a little video explaining what you'll see me do. As always, you're absolutely welcome to sketch however you like. Just be loose, have fun. But if you want to learn a little something or interested in what I'm doing, you can pay a little attention and have some free lessons. So let's get in with that first video. It'll be about 5 minutes, maybe a little under, and then we'll jump right into Sketch Club. So we try to work with 4 values, meaning 4 different darks to light. I often refer to number 1 as quote-unquote white or our lightest. This is white chalk I'm using, and I'm using it on toned paper. The toned paper is the second value we use. The third value I get by using vine charcoal. Now, you can really use anything you want to use, but the main thing is that there's definite value difference, right? 1 is lighter than 2, 2 is lighter than 3, and you guessed it, number 3 is going to be lighter than 4. That was what's called a stump that you saw me using. If you don't have that, you can use your finger or dirty up a paper towel. And on number 4, I'm using compressed charcoal. You can see there gets to be a little charcoal dust there. You can pick up your pad and just shake it off into a trash can to get rid of that dust. I don't know that I'd be blowing it unless you're someplace where you don't mind charcoal dust getting everywhere. But what we do is when we have things to paint, we try to see it as a value pattern rather than anything in particular. So rather than seeing a white pelican, I'm just trying to make out what's the pattern of values that I'm seeing. Because that's what we can control, that's what we can work with, right? We got a number 1, we got a number 2, we got a number 3, and we got a number 4, but we don't have a white pelican or white pelican reflection or beak or eye or water. So we've got to work with what we have, and what we have is value. So we're going to make these things into value patterns. So the pelican and then the ocean, those were from Sunday and Tuesday night, so we won't be doing those. But again, just to expose you how, so now I've got a number 4 value running across a number 3. And look, I'm letting that number 4 get weaker and weaker and weaker as it goes back into space. And then I'm going to cause a bunch of commotion right here with the dark rocks up front. We're going to have some tone of the paper, so number 2. We're going to throw in a little white. I mean, it's going to be a party. Everybody's going to be there. So, given that fact, where do you think I might want you looking at? Yep, that's right. Right, you're going to look where there's the most activity, there's the most change. All right, so what we're going to be doing tonight is a landscape, dramatic landscape. So we're all in shadow in the foreground with big trees, and in the background in light are rolling hills. And we got some gray clouds, and we've also got a brilliant white cloud up there. Okay, so the sky is going to be a gray tone so that that white cloud can show up. And then those are the dark trees that'll march across. And then we're going to have a gray foreground. And then the tone of the paper for those hills in light. So the idea is to get to where you can quickly analyze and start playing around, because once you see those are the ingredients, Then what you want to do to get a good painting is, okay, do the trees need to be bigger? Do the trees need to be smaller? Is there too much sky? Is there too little sky? How big do I want that? How big do I want this? Oops. And finally, our second one for tonight's going to be our hungry little scrub. I guess he's hungry. I don't know. He doesn't look big enough to be taken off on his first flight to me, but I'm not a biologist. But again, I'm trying to see value patterns rather than an animal or even kind of what it is. And what I want to learn to do is to build these things, quote unquote, a scrub jay, an ocean scene, a vista, using patterns. Think about it in terms of patterns. Okay, so that's what I'm doing, and I do work in mass rather than line, and what all that means is that it's a big even tone shape more than any like little lines. So those are the language of the painter, and charcoal works really well like that. It works more well for a mass medium, working in the language of mass, than it does for line. All right, so that's how you'll see me work today. And we'll bring you back later. We have, what do we have? We're going to be working on 2 10 minutes, and we spent 5 minutes a piece on these starting Sunday. The schedule for anybody who's new is we have Sundays, we do 4 5-minute sketches. And then on Tuesday, we take the first 2 sketches and spend another 10 minutes on them. And Thursday, we take the last 2. All right. So everybody feel like you're ready to go? Nice and warmed up? Let's sketch, huh? All right, and look who's here just in time. Claudia. This is who is responsible for this scene. Well, I don't know if she made the scene, but she took the image of the scene. So thank you, Claudia. Thank you. And here what you see me do again is getting that foreground in a gray value. Right? A lot of times when people start, they think that it's about seeing detail, all this detail quick. And an artist, you have to compose the picture. And in order to compose it, you've got to break it down into a few simple pieces, a few big simple pieces that you can rearrange. And then after you have those arranged, then we can go in for some detail for, some little specific things. But in the arts, we want to try to work from big to small. Because how horrible would it be to work on that little bitty tree and just nail that thing, right? But you spent 5 hours doing it and then think, I should have made that a little bigger. What are the chances you're not going to make that any bigger, right? 5 hours is a lot of time and a lot of effort. So before you spend that kind of effort on the specific, on the small things, make sure the big relationships are right. And the whole idea of this sketch club is to help all of us kind of stretch our muscles on seeing those big things, right? So this really isn't about getting a fine finished drawing, but just trying to see the big relationships, and can we get the entire scene on there quickly. Sorry about that unruly top of my head there. It was just one of those lean into the picture kind of days. One of those days. So I think you might be seeing that part of me once or twice more through this video. So hopefully you guys are busy working and it's not bothering you. All right, Renee made it tonight. Hey, Renee. You jumped in on a simple one. By the way, Rini, were you here the other? Oh, it was a Masterworks. We looked at Sherry McGraw's drawings. Anyway, the whole point of that is she had a whole page of goat drawings. So we want to know when you got your goats on the property. We're going to need some reference images. I think goats would be fun to draw. Susan, did you say you had goats? I can't remember if you had goats or not. Good timing, that's right. So what you see me doing here, I'm putting quote unquote a little detail in this foreground field. Just a little darker marks. And that's roughly we're gonna meander, those darker marks will meander over to the tree. That big dark tree that we're gonna, on the edge of the canvas there. That's gonna hold all that light in this. You got that much light, you're gonna need a big hold. Oh, Susan says no goats, dogs, chickens, and horses only. I don't know, I think that's pretty good. Dogs, chickens, and horses. I think there's some good sketching material there for sure. Besides, I know the area you live in. Oof. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Rini, I don't know exactly where you are, but basically that whole area up there is beautiful. So it'd be really nice to have these animals in these beautiful landscapes. Oh, made me choke. So Rini met a woman holding a 2-day-old goat. And she's on the list. First on the list. Fun, fun. Good to have things to look forward to. North of Tascadero. It's also beautiful up there. It does get a little warm in the summertime, but I really think it's just gorgeous land up there. Gorgeous, gorgeous. We'll have to see if we can't get my allergies in check so I can get back to some on-site landscape painting. Or at least get out for some more reference images. So it might look like I'm a little haphazard here, but I'm trying to think about sky holes and sky shapes and contours without going around in a big outline. And that's the advantage of working with mass instead of line, is that the way these things meet and the shapes we get, it's just a different nature. Nothing wrong with drawing with line and speaking with line, but that is the language of, not the language of painting, right? And we do these studies for our paintings. Charcoal works well with the language of mass versus the language of line. So, but I admit it, for a little 10-minute, I'm getting a little persnickety here. You gotta move, you gotta move, you gotta move. Oh, Tascadero Lake. Yeah, there's some beautiful things there. Tom walks down there every day. I've got quite a collection of photos from there. But yeah, send me your take. Let's see your view on it. Maybe we'll do a month of different views of a Tascadero Lake. Speaking of reference images, so for our next February class, you're going to have 3 references to choose from. And this scene right here is one of them, this landscape. I decided to go ahead and use that. It will be in color. This is just black and white for our painting one to choose from. We're going to have a portrait of Millie, if you want to do a little dog portrait. And then I have a still life with some pear and grapes. But then there's also a tapestry in the background. So you will have a near ground and a background with some action. If you guys remember Hosvet Pushman, his beautiful backgrounds. So we could tip some of those. So we'll have 3 for next month. You can choose 1, 2, or shoot, try to get all 3. I can't promise you I'm going to be able to give you all the feedback and everything in all three, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best, but I do plan on demoing on each for each one of them. So we'll have that reference to go through, and then we meet so much during the month. Lots of student feedback and stuff for that. So that next pine that I done, is that a pine or cypress? I'll have to freshen up here. Right, that's going to be part of the detail, and the reason why is that's going to be right in front of those light hills. So that's going to be a brilliant, brilliant silhouette for us. So I want great shapes and negative shapes there on that. And then the rest of the trees and things are going to be a bit less interesting than that one. Why? Because I want that one to win. That's my idea. That's my composition. Right? And my idea is to kind of have that diagonal balance between that white cloud in the sky and then that silhouetted small tree down there. All right? So we got some tension and ways that we can balance it there. You know, in 10 minutes, it's kind of hard to work with aesthetic balance. Right? The most we're basically able to do is start to delineate these big pieces and get a feel for what's involved for each one, and maybe some ideas for when we're ready to execute it or slow down and do a little better study. Okay, so, but even in this, we still have an idea of what's happening, right? So now what I was going to do is just kind of put the ridge of hills in shadow back there before it goes into the clouds. So I'm using my vine charcoal for kind of a light gray. I don't want that anywhere near as dark as this foreground. Much, much weaker. And smaller, right? By making it just so much smaller, it has a sense of size and dimension there. And then those grayer clouds underneath the white cloud, right? Because we want that white to be special. And if there's white everywhere, it ain't too special. So we're going to try to group this into one big shape, and then there may be one or two little white shapes poking through. So you guys will have to let me know what kind of subject matter you like. I know we got some animal lovers here. It's always fun. Do you like the landscapes? Do they seem too challenging in this short period of time, or the still life? By the way, the idea is to be challenging, because the challenge is to get a sense for the whole very quickly. Right? That's generally what sketches around this time are meant for, is just get a general feeling for a whole. 15 minutes, unless you're a professional illustrator or artist, you're not going to get much more than that in 15 minutes. All right? If you're a pro, an animator, or an illustrator doing this all the time, you can get pretty quick. All right, a hungry scrub jay. Look at that fluffy little birdie. Big fluffy body, short little wings. All right, I guess he doesn't have his mouth full on open yet, but it feels to me like he's getting ready to call out. Hey, Ma, where's my food? I'm hungry. So again, since we want to think of this as value patterns, not a cute little scrub jay that's hungry, right? It's the design of the value patterns that's really going to determine whether the drawing has merit or not. Aesthetically speaking. Aesthetically speaking. Right? There's all kinds of other ways it could have merit. Right? It could be special to you, or it could be your best drawing you've ever done. Right? Those are all fair. It's all fair. I'm just talking aesthetically speaking. Right? So the dark shapes of the eye and the mouth are real important to kind of draw focus. And then notice we've got two big shadows under the wings. But rather than being too rough about it, I'm taking my time and trying to see, what is that shape? What is that angle? How big is this? Is it nice and solid, or is it going to let off? Plus, we can't draw this like it's porcelain or something. This is feathers. And maybe fur. Is that fur on the body, or are those considered feathers too down there? I don't know. Doesn't look very feathery to me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, doesn't this change everything? Doesn't that change everything? Miss Claudia's birthday's tonight. It's her birthday. If my voice wasn't just, or my vocal training or complete lack of, so horrible you'd get sung to. But I'm afraid you would think of it more of an insult just from me, so. Happy birthday, young lady. Happy birthday. Hope you have a great birthday. And I hope you have many, many more. Miss Claudia, the good thing about our classes is we've got a very supportive, friendly community. And, no matter what level you're at, the whole class is cheering you on. And it just makes such a difference going through art with friends and people who are struggling, and to watch each other kind of grow and struggle. It's just so fun, because sometimes you go through periods to where it's not that easy, right? And I think that's where, when you're going through it with other people, can pull you through. And also you can see, oh, they're doing this. Oh, I see how they handled that. So I'm very, very thankful for all you guys. I've gotten lots of good friends from it. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Have a hungry scrub jay. Let's see. Wait a minute. It's your birthday. It's your birthday. So, something like that. All right. Happy birthday, Claudia. There we go. That's better than me singing. And the more you come and sketch, you'll begin to develop kind of a shorthand. And it'll make sense. At first, it may just seem a little haphazard. That's fine. For, a lot of us, the purpose is just kind of keep sketching. If you get too in your head, think about it too much, it can mess you up. You just need to get that hand moving. Get the hand moving. Lay down some marks. And so now what I'm doing is I'm thinking about how this volume of fur is situated in space. I'm going to light that such. But again, I'm not going to light it like it's ceramic or something, something with high gloss. This is fur, and so we've got to keep that in mind as we do those shapes. And that shape I'm talking about is we'll get a little light up there on that chest, because the head will tuck down and under, and then the chest will kind of poke out. Great. You like the horn sound. She liked the horn sound. Well, that was just for you, kiddo. That was just for you. We'll send you off at the end with another one. But I'm sure for all of us that love it, there's probably a few people out there that hate it. Yeah, this fluff. All right, so the biologist has let us know it's fluff. The fluff. Thank you, Susan. Right, and it's important because it's a different material. It looks different than the feathers. Right? It catches light, shadow, everything. It just feels different. So we want to start noticing that. And if I can use the right word, that might help out. Rather than some made-up vocabulary. Although I do like my made-up words. But as long as we're communicating clearly. So the shadow in the center of the mouth, the dark, is then followed by a shadow underneath the beak. Right? And then I'm going to use some white to draw you to the beak. That white, because that white will be right next to that dark. So that's a big visual sound. Right? I kind of think about this with like how loud is this note? And that's going to depend on the difference in the values, the hardness of the edges, the size of the shape. But we're not trying to copy what we see from the photograph, but we're trying to orchestrate a visual experience. And I mean, can we be honest for a second? Can we just be absolutely honest? Who does not want to orchestrate a visual experience? Right? It's a give me. If you can orchestrate a visual experience, you're going to try to orchestrate a visual experience. And once you've done it once, it's a little bit addictive. It's a little bit addictive. It's kind of fun. Right? As long as you're drawing and painting things, man, that's stressful and you're copying and you're all uptight. But orchestrating a visual experience, man, sounds like you're the leader of a party bus or something. Sign us up, huh? Right, and that's some pretty sloppy wing work there. I gotta apologize for those last few white marks. Sometimes in teaching, I talk about us as fence builders, meaning we have a tendency to make the same mark over and over and over again. And those little quote-unquote feather highlights on that far wing, that was Jason's fence builder sneaking in, trying to set up a perimeter. As artists, we want to avoid the fence building. All right, but we want balanced variety. It's what every student loves to hear. That is some really nice balanced variety you have there. Isn't that what you always wanted to hear? But that's the key to beautiful aesthetics, right? And all that means is balancing the darks with the lights and the grays. So that was that. I don't know. I wasn't too ecstatic. Wasn't too excited about the way mine turned out this week. But hey, you win some, you lose some, right? What do you guys say we do a quick rewind? And then we'll have to send Claudia off with a very, very happy birthday from us all. So again, you can notice very much in the rewind as we go faster, I'm trying to really be specific about what value I'm in, right? We started showing you value number 4, number 3, the tone of the paper and white. And so although I do pause for some little quote-unquote detail, I'm really more concerned about this overall value pattern. And once I have that figured out, what I want to do is I'm going to come back and refine that value pattern until it's more precise, right, on what I'm looking for, what the object is. All right, a singing scrub jay. Yeah, maybe he's not calling out for food. He's probably there just singing a beautiful little song on that fence, huh? Whatever, it can be whatever we want. We're in charge. It's our drawings. It's our drawings. All right, Miss Claudia, happy birthday to you. Hope you had a great time. I hope you had a double great time. All right, thanks to everybody else. That's it for this week on Sketch Club. We'll be back Sunday night at 7 o'clock. For all you guys in class, we have our Zoom tomorrow morning at 9. Until then, you guys stay beautiful and keep creating. Bye-bye, everybody.